Today we're speaking to Karina Rodriguez-Diaz, a lawyer by profession, who with her husband founded Don Sox in 2019. Welcome, Karina, and thank you for taking the time to speak with me.
Hi, Beverly. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, I'm going to start really, Karina. Can you tell me what led you to start the business?
Look, both Peter and myself always like expression, like style as a way of expression. But men don't have as many options as we women have, no, to accessorize and to dress up and to, mix and match different outfits and different things. So we thought socks were a really good way for men to accessorize their outfits. And then through my corporate career, I traveled a lot and I used to buy Peter's socks, but he was always saying that socks were either very black and gray and blue, very traditional, or that they were on the opposite spectrum, very big patterns. And he was saying, I don't feel comfortable or confident wearing those socks. I still want to feel elegant on my meetings, or comfortable, that I'm well dressed. So we did a little bit of research with other men, and we kind of like landed on the same. Men wanted something that complement their outfits, but that allowed them to feel good and feel elegant. So we thought, okay, we're gonna design, because you can never make it easy, isn't it? We said we were gonna design our own socks, high quality, on bold colors, bold designs, but that making sure always that men were feeling elegant and well dressed. And behind that, we have also a big purpose, which is we wanted the socks to be a conversation started in how men look, but how they would feel and how their mental health was playing on that day. So we always wanted the socks to be a way to speak up in terms of style, but also in terms of how I'm feeling today. Do I need to talk to someone? Do I need to speak up about this is not feeling well, or I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling down? So it's a little bit of fashion and purpose behind it, is looking good, but also feeling good and addressing those issues as well.
And did that sort of the thing about the mental health and whatever, what sort of led you to sort of really want to do that? Because we women, we're very upfront. We talk to our girlfriends, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. Men, not so much. Was that the reason behind why you felt that, it's about how I feel, and for men to be able to talk about how I feel?
Yeah, you're right, Beverly. It's how we've been raised up, isn't it? It's education, it's culture, etc. And you're right. We're allowed in a certain way to express ourselves and to say, like I'm feeling sad, and we go out with friends, and drink or have a cup of tea and say and cry, and it's okay. It's okay. It's perceived as a weakness, but it's okay to show that because we're women. Whilst for men, there's no allowance on that. There's no, it's perceived as not being the man, the provider. So they basically just shut down their feelings, or they don't speak up about it. It's also proven though that men don't even understand that they are feeling down, that they are feeling sad. So you could hear men saying that they're irritable or that they're off, but they're not actually identifying that there's a feeling of depression or anxiety or sadness. And look, it has changed through time. Like in recent years, much more like media personalities or athletes have come out and said, I have suffered from depression, or I have not feel okay at a particular time. And that has encourage other men to actually speak up a little bit more. But also we knew, Peter and I understood really well the issue, because Peter's brother actually just died by suicide. And then I had a really close girlfriend that also died by suicide. And we know the effects on friends and family that could have, and it's not only the person that is not feeling well, it's all the family and community that's around them that suffer the issues and the stigma that depression and anxiety and suicide brings with it. So yeah, we're always encouraging that, like, it doesn't matter how you look and how styled you are and how well dressed you are. If you're really not speaking up and not feeling good, what's the purpose behind it, isn't it?
So, obviously, last year was incredibly difficult. It didn't really matter what walk of life you worked in. We all had to overcome some challenges. But I just wanted to ask you, in terms of you're coming up for sort of 2 years now. What have been the highlights for you in starting the business?
Um, and you're right. Look, COVID didn't discriminate, no, on anyone. We still are in it. But it brought a lot of challenges, and in particularly for the business, of course. Um, but in terms of the highlights, I do believe that there's a lot of more people um, being conscious about what is important and what matters, and looking beyond what is the obvious. And that's, I actually want to show you this particular design we had is based on the 2020 Pantone color of the year, which is that classic blue. And the reason why that specific color was chosen was because in that time of turmoil, people were needed to be grounded and but look at what is beyond the obvious, which is how stressful the situation was, and just like trust that things are going to be okay. So the highlights are like, through all this challenge, we have learned that people is speaking up much more, that our purpose behind the design and behind the style resonates with people. So a lot of our customers, whether men that buy for themselves or women that buy for their men, resonate a lot with that mental health purpose and speaking up and supporting men on, addressing the issue and how they feel, and being okay with men actually saying, I am not feeling okay, I need help. So yeah, that's probably a highlight for us.
I mean, that really is lovely, and it actually is. One of the title for our interview is building a brand with purpose. And when I heard about you, I was really intrigued that you've got a really successful corporate career, and then you've gone out and done this, which I mean, and I've worked in the industry for a lot of years. I know that it can be tough. It can be up and down, and I think that probably leads me to my next question, which is, having been through what you've been through in terms of founding the business. What would your advice be to anybody who was wanting also to go out and start a business in fashion or clothing, apparel, accessories, that kind of thing? What would you say to them as your key learning that you'd say, this is what you need to think about?
Yeah. If I've met you when I was thinking to start the business, without no doubt, I would probably have gone to one of your training sessions.
Okay.
No doubt about it. Because now, after 2 years, of course, like, and Peter and I come in, like from a corporate career, whether the industry not whatsoever related to fashion at all, it would have been much more easier to be surrounded by people in the industry that, but to have that supporting network is always important in any industry. But fashion is very competitive, and it would have been good to have even just the minimum basic information. We didn't know. I have to be honest, like we just thought, oh well, we like style and like, and I'm always a little bit of a creative, so I said, yeah, I can design these. But we were a little bit naive in jumping into the fashion industry without no supporting network, no knowledge whatsoever of anything. I do have a little bit of background because of my work, of course, in terms of supply chain, but it's much more about food and manufacturing of other type of things, not necessarily fashion. So a big challenge, even just understanding how the supply chain work from the moment that I, design something and choose a color and agree to a sample, and who's going to manufacture it, and how long it's going to take, and what are all the challenges that come with it, stock count, where to should we go to retailers, or should we just stay online, should we build our presence exclusively through social media, are influencers good for us or not, like all those little components. It would be really good to like to have like a little board of advice in terms of people that has been in the industry, even the media buyers, like the fashion buyers, the media buyers, like I would love to have that conversation, as in like, what are you thinking to buy, what are you thinking to bring this year, etc., etc. So without doubt, that knowledge of the fashion industry would be really good.
I mean, that's some really great takeouts, isn't it? But actually, you're really brave that you just, went ahead anyway, because you had this passion for wanting to build this brand with purpose. And I think that's really what's driven you. So can you tell us, when you're starting with your ranges and things like that, how do you go about it? How are you looking at color and design, and what is your process for the design process?
Yeah, and Beverly, have in mind that probably I'm going to tell you something that is not necessarily what every single designer does, because as I said, I don't have any, educational background on it. So it's really very intuitive. Of course, I do look at the Pantone colors, like I said before, and I try to really look at trends and the colors, more in the sense of what they represent. Okay, so talking about the blue, for example, like it's okay, it was looking at beyond is obvious. I do have some oranges here, like orange is encouragement, is confidence, it calls you to action. Like it's happiness, or is a classic, like a stable color. So I do try to look at what the color represent. And I look at the trends not so much to design something that it could be considered trendy, but also, but more to actually think how our customers will accessorize this color with whatever they're going to wear. So I always try to keep in mind that our customers are mainly very busy corporate or business owners, men. So they will be wearing a suit or a very smart casual outfit. So it's how can I incorporate a pattern and a design and a color that could fit well with what they wearing, and like back to the purpose, as in like make them feel good and elegant, and confident that they would really want to wear that. So if you look at all our patterns and designs, like they have a little of a pattern, a little bit of a color, and some of them are really bold, like in terms of the color that we chose, but they is still very easy to accessorize. Like you could have that with a navy blue suit, or a gray suit. So something that complements rather than detracts from what men want to achieve on the day. Yeah.
So obviously, as we come out of COVID, what next for Don Sox? What do you see, your next step?
That's a very interesting question. And look, COVID slowed us down in a little bit, in a way. Like we have socks at port and not being able to bring new designs, or very slowly. The year wasn't bringing designs. People not going to the office, so sales drop as well. But it allowed us also to redesign certain things. We relaunched the website, to make it easier to understand what men could buy and how they could buy it. We have a subscription basis, but we have one-off as well. So that's working really well. I think for us is just now, the next step is just to keep building that audience, and we want to go more on to start actually speaking up much more about, with men, of course, about how they will accessorize wear their socks, but also what is that they're really feeling about it, and what are they going to do about that. So it's once again bringing the socks into a conversation, but actually having the conversation. So it's challenging, Beverly, because both Peter and I still have our corporate jobs. The days are really long, but it's how can we take it to the next step? You know, like making sure that we are fair to our corporate jobs, but also to what Don Sox purpose is. Okay, so it's important for us to sell, of course, because if we don't sell, we don't have funds to donate like we want to. But at the same time, we just want to be true to our purpose. It has never been exclusively about the socks or the sales, is what is behind it and what encourage people to do. So we just want to make sure that we keep it that way.
Karina, that is fantastic, and it's a great ethos to have, I think. And I just want to say thank you, very much for your time today. And I absolutely wish you the best of luck with Don Sox. And I will be buying them for birthday presents and Christmas presents for all the men in my life. So, Karina, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Beverly, for for having the time to talk to us. And we know you're very experienced and you talk to, like big people in the fashion industry. So for you to consider us to speak to your audience is we're very humble and very honored. And when you buy Don Sox, we deliver in a handy washing bag so they don't get lost in the washing machine. You go. And it's also environmental friendly. So perfect gift. Perfect gift.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Beverly.